everyone, thanks so much for stopping by. And so today we'll be doing another book review, and this is entitled Pestilence. This is from the Four Horsemen series written by Laura Thalassa. I'm going to give you information from Goodreads, and then I'm going to give you my full review. So this is the first book I've ever read by Laura Thalassa. I think I got or wanted to get this book when it was advertised. I could be wrong, because this was first published back in September 14, 2018. Or no, March 20th, 2018. That's weird. There's two different ones next to each other. Anyway, so I don't know if it was that long ago that I wanted to purchase it, but I didn't read it till very recently. And so this is it. They came to Earth: pestilence, war, famine, death. Four horsemen riding their screaming steeds, racing to the corners of the world. Four horsemen with the power to destroy all humanity. They came to Earth and they came to end us all. So the genres, I'm not going to read the rest, but the genres belong to fantasy, romance, paranormal, new adult, paranormal romance, dystopia, science fiction, fantasy, romance, post-apocalyptic, urban fantasy, adult. I was a little like new adult. Anyway, so there's gonna be some spoilers. So if you don't want to know any spoilers in this, just don't continue. So I'm just gonna say this. I felt like my soul was kicked when I read this book, and it was hard for me to move on. Like, I read this book, I read it again yesterday. And that was probably like the fourth or fifth time that I read it. And when I finished it, it wasn't too long ago. I don't really want to say when it was. Just a few days. There you go. So even when I moved on to a different book, I would go back to this and just be like, swoon. So anyway, the reason I was very drawn to this one was because I really loved Larissa Arione's Lords of Deliverance spinoff from the Demonica series. I also love Demonica, by the way, but I love the spinoff series. And my favorite, I thought that I would love all of them. I thought that even the first one I would love, but I really, really loved the one that had Pestilence in it, which is also named Resif, I think, in that book. So when I saw this, I think I just finished that book, and it was still like ringing in my head, and I was still like, the claws were still in me, and I was still rereading it. I saw this, and I remember I'm like, oh, I want this book. I think it was like an ad or something. I don't remember, but I know I noticed it somewhere, and I'm like, I want this. Yeah. And so it took me a while to read it. I gotta be honest, been distracted. So read it, and oh my God, I'm in love with Pestilence. As disturbing as that sounds, it's just, oh my gosh. So anyway, the very, very beginning, human named Sarah Burns, she got the mission to try and stop Pestilence, and this is gonna be a huge spoiler, so she figures out in a very disturbing way that he cannot be killed. So she basically murdered him. Really, really graphic and really thorough and kind of cringy. And right after that, their interaction was so brutal that I was like, this is really kind of hard to come back from. I was very wrong. So I'm very glad I was very wrong with that. So Laura definitely redeemed Pestilence, because he was very brutal with her. Just the way he was punishing her was just very disturbing for me. And it was very, very horrific. That was short, but it was still very graphic and very painful to read. But yeah, I think it was just to kind of show the brutality and the limitations that Pestilence don't really have. Like he doesn't really have restrictions or no restrictions, and it does show that over and over in the book, that he really doesn't know the limitations of humans versus him a lot. Like he's just a one goal person, you know. He has one task, and that's to give out plague and disease to the world and humanity, and to slowly kill us. And well, not really that slowly, but to do that, to give us this sickness and disease, to kill us. And that's really it. Like he doesn't interact with us that much, so he doesn't really know much in regards to limitations. He does admit to the fact that, you know, he has known man since the beginning of time, but he has only known humankind in a specific way, and that is always in a negative way. So that was his view in the world. This is one of those like enemies to lovers trope. That was never, I've never been interested in that, because it's always kind of like, it's always abusive, and I don't really like that. It's very triggering, and it's very, I don't know, it's just hard. But this wasn't that bad, and I really, really love it. Like really, really love it. Like when I read it, and that's why I said I just reread it yesterday, because let's just say if I finished this on day 1, day 2 I tried to move on and I couldn't, and I reread it. Day 3 I tried to move on and I did move on, and I read a different book. I started to, and then I went back again. So basically, ever since I finished this book the first time, which I just couldn't leave, it took me a few tries. And I just thought, maybe if I do the review finally, maybe I can move on, right? That is the hope anyway. Yeah, I can't even pick up the second book yet, because I'm just, oh my gosh, like this really got their hooks in me. I just, wow. And just, you know, when I was reading this, like it said, you know, the second is romance. It's a very clean romance. And I thought it was going to be like one of those YA super squeaky clean romance. There's a little bit more spice into it, but it's not extreme. It's not super. It's one of those like really clean, but clean spicy. I don't know if that makes any sense. Clean spicy romance. Like it's not very graphic. Yeah, it's not very graphic romance. There are some love scenes, but it's like clean. But it's still pretty spicy, in my opinion, anyway. It's sad that this is only rated 3.92 out of 5 stars, because I really, really love this book. I would actually give this a 10 out of 5 stars. I really, really love it. A 2 thumbs up. And I would really appreciate it if you got, I already have the rest of the series, so you don't have to recommend any of that. But I would love to have other recommendations that would be similar to this type of writing, similar to this kind of love story or story itself. I don't know why I'm like hooked onto the romance right now, and I have to really blame it on this, because I thought after I was gonna read this I would jump back to like a mystery thriller, suspense thriller, or you know, something in that genre, mystery thriller, mystery or whatever, and I just can't move on. It's just I need help. So please send help by putting in the comment section what you would suggest in regards to other stories that are very similar to this, similar type of like romance and the way it's written. It's just, I think it's just beautifully written, so highly recommend. Please don't forget the suggestions, because I do appreciate those. And if you haven't yet, please add me in my Goodreads account, because whenever anybody on my Goodreads list has an update, if you don't know, you will get like an email update on that. And so I get to look at what everybody's doing, what everybody's reading and finished and all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't have that yet. Maybe that I need to check that out, you know, things like that. So please add me in my Goodreads account, which is in the description section, including where you can get this. And anything else will be in the description section. If I find any goodies, some discounts, some free stuff, will always be in the description section. Thank you everyone for the love and support. Thank you for the beautiful and kind words. Stay happy, stay safe, keep smiling, and I appreciate you so much. So thank you, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.